You remember the octave shape?
I can. It was like a little L shape. It was from the low to the high G, 2 along, 2 up.
That's it. We're going to start with that. Our first lesson objective today is revisiting that and develop our understanding of and performance of octave shapes.
Excellent. What are our other lesson objectives?
The other big objective which we're going to tackle today is, you were talking about this in the last lesson again, about how the piano's got this kind of black and white monochrome colour coding system. It's very difficult sometimes in the beginning to see where you're on the bass. So the other big lesson objective today is describing, introducing the symmetry of the bass, the fact that the fingerboard, the bass neck, is symmetrical, and that allows us to transfer shapes, to move shapes from one place to another.
Excellent stuff. I mean, we should say that Lesson 7 is very much a continuation, isn't it, of Lesson 6?
Yeah, absolutely. Developing Rock Grooves Part 2. And the first real heading is to pick up on what we did in the last lesson, which is to take that octave shape and transfer it. So transferring an octave shape. Yeah,
Okay.
Grab your bass. Good.
Show us the shape.
I'm sure you remember it. We were playing a G octave shape using the first finger to play the low G on the 3rd fret of the E string. Very good. And then using the little finger, the 4th finger, crossing 2 strings. So that's that L shape you were talking about. It's kind of like going up 2 and across 2.
Yeah, so up 2 strings.
Up 2 and across 2. So low G and high G. And we played a few exercises to help us develop our facility, our technical control, our fluency with executing that shape. What we need to do today, right away, is transfer that shape. So if we can do that for G, we ought to be able to do that for some of the other notes we learned.
Are we able to do it for all the notes?
We are. That's the great thing about the bass fingerboard. It's symmetrical. Keep using that word, the big S word, symmetrical, and it means that pretty much we can move things around from one place to another. So let's transfer that octave shape from G to A. So you can kind of keep that shape with your left hand. And do you remember where A is? If you move your hand up 2 frets to the 5th fret, there you go. Same fingering, same overall shape. We're still kind of going from that finger across 2 and up 2.
Okay, so this was our A note that we learned back at the beginning.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, 5th fret,
Good.
4th string.
Yeah, and just check you've got the right shape there with your little finger, your 4th finger. Should be up 2 and across 2. There you go, Natalie, that's it.
That's where I've messed up, because what I was doing, I was trying to lock that shape as we're moving along, but unfortunately my fingers aren't as rigid as they could be.
Okay, so you need to practice that.
Okay.
That's the A shape, low A and high A.
Excellent. Can I hear what they sound like?
You can. I'll just turn on the bass. There's our old A, which we've known and loved for a long time now. And here's this new A, which is on the 7th fret. We're going into new territory. We haven't been up this high on the bass before, so we're up on the 7th fret of the D string, the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So low A and high A. And it's good that you've done that so that we can hear the difference between those two notes, the low A and the high A, the A an octave higher. And I'm not really worried at the moment about rhythm, timing, the band or anything. I'm just locating those notes and making sure that I've got control of them.
Once I've located them, what's a good way to practice them?
We need to practice them, don't we? So we've got the usual media files here. So if you scroll down,
there we've got the positioning, the diagram.
That's very helpful, isn't it? So you can see colour coded, you can see that L shape being transferred across the neck. And there comes the media file. So that's low to high. So I'll just follow on from the end of that clip now. So as you can see, that's low A, high A, low, high, A. Just rocking back and 2 in that octave shape, and I'm using the 1st finger of my fretting hand and the 4th finger of my fretting hand. In the other hand, I'm doing what we talked about in the last lesson, just that kind of split with my right hand, my picking hand fingers, just that kind of split with my picking hand, where I've got one guarding one string and one guarding the other string. So they're ready to drop down.
Fantastic, I can see where we're going there.
Good.
I've got the extractor up.
You don't hang around, do you?
I don't hang around, no, because we need to push on.
Okay, I'm ready, go.
Hit play and let's practice.
Here it comes. So if you want to play along, remember that we're using the 4th string, the E string. That's it.
I'm there. And we're just doing quarter notes here.
Quarter notes, starting with the E string.
We're just building it up again.
That's good, and you've got a nice separation between those fingers in your picking hand. Great.
All right, lovely.
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with that.
I'm almost comfortable with it, but I want to keep going onwards and upwards.
Good. So what we've done so far is we've understood that we can transfer an octave shape. The symmetry of the bass fingerboard allows us to do that and take a shape that we learned for one note, transfer it, move it somewhere else to another note we know, and copy that shape across. Yeah,
I mean, we were familiar with the G, the low and the high.
Yeah.
We've just taken that shape, moved it along. It's something new, but it doesn't feel too scary.
No new notes, really. New locations, because, as I said before, we've come into new territory on the bass, but we don't need to worry about that, don't need to let that phase us at all, because that shape will guide us through all that. We just hold on to that shape, and that'll lead us through.
OK, so let's do exercise 2, and I noticed in exercise 2 there's some eighth notes in there.
We've got used to doing that. That's the way we do things here at Gigajam, isn't it? We follow on. It's this accumulative approach where we keep what we've got and we combine it and add it to the next thing. So you're right, this next exercise, if you look at it, the first bar is A, and that's only quarter notes. The second bar is A with eighth notes and quarter notes. So combination here. Slightly longer exercises, gives us a bit more time to practice this octave A shape and crossing the strings.
OK, I'm going to load up the extractor.
OK, good.
And we can play along with that. Obviously at home, take your time on it, you know, break it down bar by bar, get your rhythm how we practiced before, and then bring it into the extractor.
Absolutely, yeah, you could look at each bar in turn, make sure you understand the rhythm, don't be rushed along, do it at your own pace and spend plenty of time to make sure you understand everything.
Exactly. So these are our quarter notes, and then this is the second bar there with those eighth notes. I'm liking the sound of this. We're mixing it up. I'm going to move that so you can see them there.
That'll be helpful.
It's all about teamwork here on Gigajam. OK, we're just bringing it all together. We've got our A shape there.
Yeah.
It's sounding good as well. Sometimes, you know, practice can get a bit boring and a bit dull if you're just doing the same thing.
That's the good thing about having this Gigajam band, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
If you were just doing this on your own, you would get bored pretty quickly.
Lovely, Terry.
Good.
Beautifully demonstrated, as ever.
Thank you.
We've got more, haven't we?
We've got lots more, so if you could scroll down, kind of, you're working quite hard today.
I am, well, so are you. We all are, I think.
OK, what do we do next? Have a guess.
Building a rock groove?
Building a rock groove is exactly what we do next, and what we did earlier in the last lesson was play G octaves, and in this lesson we've played A octaves. You can see what's coming. Going to combine those two. So many a rock groove, many a bass groove or a bass riff or many a song has been born out of just exactly that. Taking something, coming up with a cool rhythm, like for example this octave shape, transferring it to a new note, copying it, and then those two things together become the foundation of a song perhaps.
I like it. We're going to mix it up, A's and G's.
Yeah, so this exercise number 3 is the first bar is A, second bar G, third bar A, fourth bar G. So it's going to give us the chance to practice moving, transferring this octave shape from A, which is where we start, down to G. So going from the 5th fret down to the 3rd fret and then back up. So it's going to give us plenty of time to get all this under control.
Yeah, I mean the difficult stages, I think, when we're going to be changing bars, when we're going to be changing the notes.
Yeah. Once you're in one location, that's fine, isn't it? It's when you've got to change to the other place that there's a potential for you to lose control. So if you do, don't worry about it. Jump back on and keep going. If you're not happy, stop, check it all again, try out that move, maybe practice it first.
Maybe practice it, you know, bar 1 to 2.
You could do that, yeah. Yeah, you can do it completely out of time first if you want. Just make sure you've got the locations down. Because it's a tall order moving this octave shape around. We only learned it last time and now we're moving it around to build a rock groove.
It is. I'm going to put the extractor on to give us the Gigajam band.
Great.
And
I'll play.
Yeah, talk us through it as well. Talk us through the tricky change.
OK, here we go, starting with A. Low.
High. There's the change we've gone up. We're going back to the A. our bar of A, the bar of G.
High, low, low,
We're
G.
testing all areas, aren't we? Because, I mean, you're reading along.
There's a lot going on, isn't
We've
there?
got our rhythm, the alternate fingers. Wow.
Which is why I'm not talking much. Low A, high, low, low G,
Change.
high, low, high, A.
And it's knowing where to look, isn't it? I mean, you're obviously looking at the music, and we've got to feel that rigid shape with our fret hand and
Just
bring it along.
transferring that shape back into. That's it. That's what this exercise is all about. So take your time, do plenty of practice, and make sure that you can move that octave shape and transfer it from one place to another. It's a really handy bass player's tool.